governor and legislative leaders have devoted an additional $1.3 billion of the surplus to the area that serves the elderly and people with disabilities. The Senate version of the bill passed with overwhelming bipartisan support on a vote of 63-4. Senator John Hoffman is the chair of the Senate Human Services Committee, and he joins me to talk about the funding package. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Senate Majority Leader Carrie Dietzig has said this bill represents the largest investment in caregivers and elder care in Minnesota history. What is the bill getting right on behalf of Minnesota's older folks as a place to start?
You know, I'm glad you bring that up because you're correct. It is the largest investment probably in the history of human services. Yet, when you look at the needs with human services, we have, for the first time in history, 1.3 million people 65 and older, right? That keeps growing. We've known for years that the silver tsunami was coming. Well, silver tsunami is here. And yet at the same time, we have a problem in Minnesota. We have 53,000 job openings in the caregivers buckets, right? And caregivers I'm putting all into one place. PCAs, CNAs, assisted folks that work in assisted living, home health aides, right? Even to the nursing homes. And just caregivers, 53,000 job openings. It's pretty impactful when you look at 1.3 million people that are 65 and older, and what are those needs? And yet at the same time, I don't think it's enough money, and I know it's not enough money. If you wanted to fix the system, right, we want to get people to $20 an hour, because when you look at what it's not addressing, you know, if you're working in elderly waivered services, your reimbursement rates are around $13.91 an hour, right? I can go work at McDonald's for $21 an hour if I lived in Burnsville. I still have the picture, it's sitting on my desk, and I'm reminded that every day. And you say, what am I going to do to compete against folks like that, especially given the fact that these are caregiver positions? To get people to $20 an hour outside of the PCA realm, it's a $4 billion investment by the state of Minnesota, right? To really totally fix the system, to stabilize it, and I mean the system, all those different buckets that we're going to talk about, you need about $5.6 billion to do that, right? So I'm grateful we got 1.3. Let me add one more thing to that, Shannon. 1.125 billion of the surplus was money that was underspent by the Department of Human Services. Underspending means it was already budgeted to go for a service, but for whatever reason that service was not provided. I'm going to give you an anecdotal example. You had children that live with autism that need a fee-for-service, which meaning it needs to be one-on-one, right? But because I wasn't able to do the one-on-one, the budget money was there. I didn't bill for that, so that money, instead of staying in the Department of Human Services where it's desperately needed, it goes into the general fund, which in this case is the surplus. Now, add to that the Federal Medical Assistance Program money payments that came, FMAP, and that brings that bucket over there to $1.825 billion. I might be off by, you know, 200 million or so, but in my math, the real issue is I'm grateful for 1.3, but really 1.825 billion of the surplus is sitting. That money should have been spent in human services.
So from where you sit, you wish that your budget target had been significantly more than where it is.
Yeah, I think the needs of Minnesota are significantly there, because if we don't invest now, which we are, we're not stabilizing the system. And to stabilize the system, there's those components that need to be, and those we did address in our bill. We increased elderly waiver services, alternative care, CADDY services, the disability weight waiver system service. We tried to increase those funding. Didn't get them to the $20 an hour where they need to be, right? But we increased those funding. Plus we gave some other incentives, and I know you have some questions on that as well.
Yeah, so we'll go into some of the highlights of the bill. One of the biggest problems across this spectrum, and you've already noted this, there's a workforce shortage. The bill does provide $21 million in grants specifically for new Americans to work in and diversify the caregiving field. So who are the new Americans? How will these grants work? And do these people want this kind of work?
Absolutely. You know, and what you see is in that avenue, if we can create a pathway, a lot of folks that go into the caregiving field are also going to school to become RNs, or they're going to school, they want to be doctors, or they're going to school because they want to better their educational experience, and it gives them an opportunity to do that. I'll give you one example out in Cokato, Minnesota. Cokato Manor, I believe is what it's called. You know, I'm out there looking at the nursing home, and they used to have an assisted living, memory care, and a home health position within that environment. They shut all those wings down because of the fact they didn't have enough caregivers. So they worked with DEED in getting people, and I believe they're East African or it's East African folks that from the Horn So it's either Kenyan or Somalia, somewhere in that area, that are here in Minnesota, and they're working in that caregiving facility, plus they're also going to school, right? And so it's like Minnesota desperately needs people to come here, and we have folks that want to come to Minnesota. That becomes a federal issue. Open up the doorway. Come on in, we got work for you to do.
The bill also supports both professional and unpaid caregivers. How will the $776 million that's been earmarked for wages, bonuses, and benefits help personal care assistance?
I said this, we wouldn't be having this spotlight on if it wasn't for the fact that SEIU did what they did and organized the PCA world, right? But unfortunately, that only covers about 25% of the need that's within that world, right? And so within that $776 million, so that is a large bucket of money. A portion of that covers that PCA that SEIU helped set up, which then raises the elevation of its standard of care money, which is a good thing. But what's also missing in what we tried to address is, if you're a family provider, you're a family member, you quit your job doing something, you're taking care of somebody, elderly parent that might be dementia, but they're at home or whatever, name the label it is, but they're at home, and I want to keep mom and grandma and folks at home, but yet I'm not doing the work I'm doing. I'm saving the state and I'm saving the system money by not having my parent in a nursing home or in a facility that's going to cost a lot of money. And speaking of facilities that cost a lot of money, because we're not able to fix the system on assisted living, at-home services and nursing homes, our hospitals now, there's 2,000 people that have hospital beds, Shannon, and that's costing you as a taxpayer $2,500 per person per day. You're looking at $36 million just in that little scenario I just snapped you. Okay. Go to an emergency room. You have emergency rooms. People are actually in the hallway getting their triage, getting their work done in emergency rooms because of the fact they don't have beds in hospitals. Hospitals are now saying, we're not being able to bill for these services. Then they go into well, this is not stuff that I'm able to collect on, so I charge it off. So the system is in balance, Shannon, and I think addressing some of those things, getting those home health aides in there, giving some money and support to the caregivers that are there would absolutely start to address some of that load that's in our hospitals.
What I hear you saying, though, is that this is a Band-Aid and this is not a solution.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you hear the Band-Aid, and to me it is a Band-Aid. It might be a larger Band-Aid because it is, again, Senator Dietzig is absolutely spot on, and I'm grateful for her leadership because we would not be in the position we're in if it wasn't for her helping really address that issue at the point. And she knows it well. She really does know it well, and I appreciate her for that.
There's one other thing I want to talk about because I just think it's really interesting. There's funding in the bill for assistive technology consultants to improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. I imagine that this could be life-changing. Could you just provide a couple examples of what this means for people with disabilities?
Absolutely. So one apartment I was in, and it was set up by an individual that lived in another state, wanted to care for his mother, who was having some dementia and some other physical limitations that were occurring in her average life, and they were able to put triggers like in certain spots within the apartment that would trigger, well, where's grandma? Well, grandma's now in the kitchen, and if grandma were to fall, there's this light array system in there that's not very expensive, that as soon as it shows that something's in the way, a light goes on, it triggers. It also had automatic assistive technology to remind you, a light would go off and, oh, it's now time to take the pills, right? So things like that absolutely work well, and there's a lot of people out there that were doing it. It's general use now. Let's expand on that.
Senator John Hoffman, we have just scratched the surface, but I want to thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for letting me scratch the surface. Take care.